Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Hack. In this video, we'll be talking about my favorite game, that being the Elder Scrolls Online. And if you're thinking about picking up ESO for the first time, or maybe jumping back into the game after taking a break, then this is going to be the video for you. These are my top 5 reasons why you should play the Elder Scrolls Online in 2021. So let's get started. Coming in first at number 5, let's talk about brand new content. Now, content updates are obviously a big part of the Elder Scrolls Online, and they keep it fresh from one year going into the next. But this year is especially notable, I think, as it includes a return to what the developers are calling the Gates of Oblivion, a story with some obvious ties to the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. So if you're a fan of this previous Elder Scrolls adventure, then jumping into ESO in 2021 should be a lot of fun for you, even if you've never played the game before. Keep in mind also that the developers of ESO are essentially a completely different team than Bethesda Softworks. They're actually ZeniMax Online Studios, so they didn't create the original Elder Scrolls games, but they do have a really strong track record actually at this point of recreating faithfully those previous Elder Scrolls titles, that content that we love so much, and putting it into ESO, going back previous years now to Skyrim, Morrowind, and many others, which have been faithfully added to the Elder Scrolls Online over the past few years. What we've seen so far, just on the test server, the content is looking fantastic. I'm a big fan of the new dungeons, actually, and how they're using those to kick off the new year-long story with these. Specifically, I love the new Black Drake Villa dungeon, which has amazing bosses, Minotaur bosses, and tons of secrets. This is one of my top ESO dungeons of all time, and you definitely want to check it out. Then you have the Cauldron, which sets the stage for the fiery return of Mehrunes Dagon. Very impressive as well. And yes, did we mention Mehrunes is returning this year as well? We will be facing off against him and the Realm of Oblivion in the final DLC release coming in Q4. Moving on to number 4 on our list, let's talk about server and stability updates this year. Now, being a massively multiplayer online game, that's definitely been a challenge for the Elder Scrolls Online in the past. Old hardware, clunky systems, lots and lots of bloated code. Those all have seemed to have affected the game from the outset, and that problem has definitely gotten worse as the game has gotten older. But 2021 may be the year where the game finally turns a corner and reaches some solid playability again, especially during prime time. Now, there are several reasons for this year, least of which is the addition of new servers coming in 2021. Now, to be clear, these will likely not directly affect lag, but they should help with servers hard crashing due to older technology. And what I'm really excited for is the culmination of essentially years of system overhauls focused on improving performance. We've seen everything from set changes to active and passive skill updates, changes with how healing and blocking work, and now in 2021, a complete rework of the champion point system. Also that these massive systems can actually begin to work together better and be less draining on server performance as a whole. So if you played ESO before, but you've been turned off by performance issues, 2021 may actually be the best time for you to come back and start enjoying the game. Number 3 is something that I haven't heard much discussion on this year, but I see it as a really substantial change, and actually multiple changes in one. First, let's talk about character stats. Coming in Q1 of this year with the Flames of Ambition DLC, characters in ESO will have vastly reworked stats. This is partly due to the introduction of the new champion point system, but this is also being done as a means of improving performance. For example, one of the biggest changes here is that in the past, characters in ESO were given bonus stats based on their champion point level, resulting in more max health, max stamina, and max magicka. Coming in the Q1 release this year, those stats are no longer tied to champion progression and instead will be built into the 1 to 50 leveling process. So previously, characters that hit level 50 usually had like around 8 to 10,000 max health unbuffed. Now those same character builds will have closer to 16,000 health and even more stamina and magicka. Not only will this help with survival, but it also opens up many more options for using food and drink buffs. For example, on the solo build, I can easily break 20k health without any health buff food, and then I can use other food or drinks to, for example, amp up my recovery instead. Now, on top of all this, builds also will be inheriting more damage reduction, as well as weapon and spell damage, again, all throughout the 1 through 50 leveling process, and not tied at all into champion point progress. The result is that new players and any build under 50 will be substantially stronger, and that builds above level 50 should have more options in terms of gear and buffs to make a strong build work. Finally, on this point, I want to also note that how character stats are displayed is also going to be majorly upgraded in 2021, as we are now getting the new advanced stats feature as part of the base game UI. I did a quick video on this topic the other day, so check the links below if you'd like more info on the new system. But essentially, any stat in the game, whether it's block cost, sprint cost, poison resistance, disease resistance, damage, amplifiers, basically anything you could think of will be visible for your character now on the character sheet for all systems, that's including consoles. Now obviously it looks a little bit different depending on if you're on a PC versus a console, but the information here is exactly the same, and this is info that was only previously available if you were on PC and you had add-ons installed to display it. So this is a big win, I think, for all players, but especially if you play on consoles, you'll now know exactly what your build is capable of and where you need to improve. For number 2, let's talk about the champion point rework, which I've already mentioned a few times in this video. There's actually a lot to dive into here, so I'd recommend you check out the previous video I did on the new champion point system for the complete breakdown and guide to how everything works. But here are a few of the essential features to know about. First, the amount of active CP nodes, or stars as they're called, have essentially tripled from about 36 up to nearly 100, with much more options for a diverse set of playstyles. Some of the nodes are relatively similar to like previous CP nodes. For example, you still have Thaumaturge that increases your damage done with damage over time skills, but you also have many more CP stars now that are going to do things completely new and different. For example, you can reduce your fall damage or increase your speed while sprinting outside of combat. There's just a lot of great options here, and the system can be easily expanded on in the future with even more options, so that's even better. Number 2, the new system has a mix of passive stars and active stars. Passive stars will always give you the bonus as long as you invest the correct number of points, but active stars need to be slotted on the new champion point bar in order to take effect. This is actually a major improvement in the system for a couple reasons. You're now going to have a limited number of slots in the CP system, so players with vastly higher CP points will actually have a soft cap in terms of the total power they can get compared to other players with less CP. And the new champion bar also means that less CP stars are actually being calculated across the server at once, and especially in really lag-filled instances like Cyrodiil or Trials, and this should result in better server performance across the board. All in all, the new system is not perfect, but I think it's a great starting point. Again, definitely go check out my full video guide so you can start planning ahead. I also have a written guide with all 99 CP stars, descriptions, max levels, basically everything else you need to get started. I'll have that linked in the description as well. Finally, that brings us to my number 1 reason why you should be checking out The Elder Scrolls Online this year, whether you are brand new to the game or returning to ESO from a break, and that is going to be NPC companions. This is a brand new feature for ESO, though obviously there have been similar systems in previous games like Skyrim and Oblivion. Basically, companions are ESO's version of followers. These are NPCs that will initially join up with you through quests as early as the Blackwood chapter coming in June of this year. Now, once you've unlocked a companion through those quests, you can then take them all over the world with you, including into dungeons and trials, though with the exception of PvP and potentially solo arenas. Now, even so, this opens up lots of exciting possibilities for builds, in my opinion. One thing we know already is that you can set combat behaviors for your companions, so having them act as a tank or a healer or a DPS. You can then equip your companions with gear, assign them skills, and even some type of skill rotation. And if combat is not your thing necessarily, then you'll still get some extensive quest lines for these characters, as well as even possible romance options. Now, obviously, we don't know all the details yet, but this is going to be a major feature, you guys, moving forward into the game. Think of something on the lines of antiquities or housing. This is something that the developers have talked about carrying through for the rest of the game. Now, if this is something that interests you, definitely keep checking back here on my channel. I'll be posting more updates as we learn more, and I already have a written guide available over on hacktheminotaur.com detailing everything we know so far. But with that said, those are my top 5 reasons you should be playing The Elder Scrolls Online in 2021. I know I will be playing a lot, but will you? Let me know in the comments section if you're playing this year, and if so, what new features are you looking forward to the most? If you want to stay up to date on everything there is to know about The Elder Scrolls Online, make sure to subscribe right here with those notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. Of course, if you liked the video today, don't forget to crush that like button. It really does help out the channel. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.